Hey guys, exciting news. I'm getting married at the end of this month. Pretty crazy, super excited, a little bit nervous, but mostly super excited. And I bring this up because this is kind of the reason I'm making this video. Through, like bachelorette parties and the wedding day and for the honeymoon, me and Elsa are going to be staying in like 5 different hotel rooms. Can you believe it? 5 different hotel rooms. Well, one of them's a cabin, but the rest are hotel rooms. And so I thought, amongst the craziness, I'd make this video on how I pack for like a stay in a hotel with my service dog. Now, over the next month, I'm not going to be flying, but I'll probably throw in a couple tips here and there for flying. So you'll get a little bit of that. I'll probably dedicate a whole video to that later. But yeah, so are you ready? Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is bags. Now, it's going to depend heavily on like where you're going, how long you're going, and what size dog you have, depending on what size bag you're gonna have. I have a couple. So I have, this is just like your standard like carry-on luggage. I do like to carry on stuff when I'm going on a plane, so that's why I got this smaller size. It's also a good size for like an overnight at a hotel. This will be the bag I'm going to be using. Let me make sure you guys can see it. So it's just a little carry-on, like under the seat kind of carry-on. It's really nice. It's really nice and big in here. Has several different pockets for like organizing stuff. And this is actually going to be the one I'm mainly going to use. And also if you have like a bigger luggage, these are really cool things to look for, is these straps on the back. So this can like slide on to a bigger set of luggage. So like if you're flying, you have one carry-on that you're gonna keep with you with dog food. Always keep at least some dog food with you when you're flying in case you're separated from your luggage. So yeah, but these straps and like organization stuff is, I think, really important, especially as a service dog handler, because you always almost have one hand tied to your dog the entire time. So having these little organization straps, and I'll show you on this other bag. I don't have a bigger piece of luggage. I like to travel pretty light, but I do have this large blue backpack. As you can tell, I love blue. That's just like it's like a laptop bag, so there's like a padded sleeve in here and stuff. But I could fit quite a bit of clothes in here and stuff. And this also has a little luggage strap, so I can pick this up, right? I don't need it that tall. But, so I can have this as a piece, and then I can slide this over. So now, I only need one hand. See how that works? And it's all together. So, definitely something I recommend getting like bags with those straps on it. And then the same kind of thing works with this strap with a larger like suitcase bag that you would check in. Or if you're just in a hotel for a long time, that's pretty close. You can do that and you just slide this over. So you only need one hand to move your luggage around. So yeah, so those are some good options. They're just like a big bag that you could fit everything in. Another thing, this is what I used for actually Elsa's first flight because I didn't have that big bag. So this was kind of my carry-on. And this is the Voodoo Tactical Large Deployment Bag. This is a nice bag. It has a pretty big compartment in here, and there's like a mesh divider in here. It's not very big, obviously, it's very small. And I used this for our first flight. The biggest complaint I have with this bag is the fact that the main compartment, you can't like open and see it all the way. So like it has this cool little handle here. And I'm always strapping because it's like tactical. So I'll like put like boots on one side so they're easy to get to. And like I had a small water bottle I put on the other side, I think. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice bag, but to put stuff in the center, like you should only put like maybe a blanket or a towel or like a coat in the center. Otherwise you're gonna lose stuff like if you put small stuff, even if you put them in the little mesh divider on the side, you have to take everything out to try to find stuff. So there are things on the sides, like this one in the front, which has some organizations. I have poop bags in here right now, but there's like 2 pockets and then a main pocket back here, which I just have some batteries in right now. But I usually I have a little pet passport that I put in there. So, but this is a good pocket if you want to put like some smaller stuff in there. And these are good, like I said, for boots. So it's a nice little bag. If you have a big dog, probably not gonna fit a whole lot in here unless you travel really light with your dog. But I like it because I can set it aside like as her bag, just her bag, and it comes with a strap, so you can like put a strap on it and then throw it across your body, which is how I carried it throughout the airport. And I thought, you know, it was small enough to like kind of keep with me when I went flying, because I took this when I went on the airplane with Elsa. But they still wanted it. It was like big enough where they wanted it up on the overhead. So it wasn't as easy as accessible as I thought it was gonna be. So I ended up, I don't know. I would use it again, but probably not as readily as I would just the big carry-on, the bigger carry-on. Or you could use something like this, just like a big duffel bag kind of thing. And this is Outward Hound. It's just a doggy travel bag. A lot of places make them. I know Roughwear has their gear bag and stuff like that. Just a big bag. This is a pretty cool one. It has like little pockets on the side, pocket on the front, like a mesh zipper pocket on the front. So, and it has 2 interior pockets. One of them is removable. I think it's mainly for food. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I haven't really used this just because it's really big. For Elsa, I typically don't bring this much stuff for her. So, but if I was gone for a week, this would probably be good. And it has like a good little handle here, so you could carry it like that. And there are little D-rings, so you can kind of do the same thing and put a strap on it. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do a bag. It really does depend on what you need to bring, because like how long you're gone. I know some people that will pack maybe a small suitcase kind of like this, or maybe a slightly bigger one just for their dog. If you have a large dog, you may have to do that, especially if you're gone for like a couple days. I'm just gonna be gone one night for the first couple of trips, so I'll just need this. I should be fine. I like trying to pack small, like as minimal as possible, but at the same time having everything I could need. So I think I'm a good balance. All right, now let's go over the essentials. So first off, you definitely want your normal working collar. This is Elsa's. I normally work on a chain martingale right now. So your dog's normal working collar and their normal working leash. So you want that. And then I have Elsa's normal working harness right now. So this is what she normally wears. So you want their like normal gear. Also, I like to bring a backup vest that is lightweight. So this one's pretty light, like I can fold it up and it's not gonna take up a ton of room in my luggage. This is our turtle vest. So with D-rings and stuff like that. It's all plastic, it's very lightweight. And it's the upgraded Condora fabric. So, and it has some Velcro on the top. But I would recommend having a backup vest, lightweight vest, one that you don't care about getting dirty, one that's doesn't cover a lot of their body in case it's a little hotter there than normal. So you want a backup vest, and then you want to back up a collar and leash. So I have a backup collar here and a backup leash. You just want to have a double, or you can do something like a 2-in-1 kind of thing. So this is just like a normal slip lead as a backup. And you just want to have a backup just in case something happens to your normal stuff. It's really good to have backup, especially if you're going to be away from home for more than a couple days. So you want to have a whole bunch of poop bags. I usually bring like 3 to 5 times more than I think I need, because you can use these for a whole bunch of different stuff too. So I'm gonna bring like 2 rolls for like an overnight. I know that's overkill, but definitely something you do not want to be caught without. Let's see. And I have a bowl here. You don't have to have this like fancy bowl, but I have like a titanium bowl. You can use just the silicone ones, but something that they can eat out of, or you could like their normal stainless steel ones. I like lightweight stuff, small stuff, so this is just big enough for her. And it comes in this cool little carrying case. Speaking of food, usually how I pack my food, I will pack, depending on how long I'm gone, 1 meal to 3 meals extra, and I will individually pack all of her meals. I feed her dry kibble, all of her meals in individual baggies, so I don't have to worry about bringing a measuring cup or anything, and I just pack them in individual baggies. So I just pull out a baggie, empty into the bowl, done. So very simple. And I'll usually bring 1 or 2 spare bags just in case, because a lot of times dogs don't eat when they're traveling. Sometimes they'll be a little upset. They're not too sure about their surroundings, especially if they're first time traveling. So I usually will grab like some of those little wet dog packets to kind of like put it on their dog food to entice them to eat. So I will keep a baggie or 2 to put the packet in there after, the packet or can of wet dog food in there after, so that it kind of seals it and I can either throw it away and it doesn't stink, or I could put it in the fridge or something. Like at the hotels they'll have like little mini fridges, so I could do that. But I will individually pack all my food. When I flew, I packed, I think, 2 days worth of food, 2, maybe 3 days worth of food, so like 5 packets because I feed my dog twice a day. And then I actually, because I was gone for a whole week when I flew, and I didn't want to carry a whole bag of dog food there and back. So when I got there, we went to Petco, and I was able to get my dog's food. May not always be an option depending on what your dog eats, if it's like a specialty dog food, but that made it a lot easier, and I was able to empty like a small bag most of the way, and we were able to bring it back in our not the carry-on luggage, but the luggage that goes under the plane. I forgot the name of it. Checked bag. And of course, when we got to our back home, the whole thing smelled like dog food. So that's another good reason why you probably shouldn't bring dog food with you, because all your clothes are going to smell like dog food. So just a thought, if you're going for a long time, maybe arrange or figure out to pick up the majority of your dog food at the destination, and then just bring it home, because then all your clothes are dirty when you're coming home, so it doesn't matter that they smell like dog food. Anyway, this is also a bag I use. I think I got this at Petco, and they have some now like dog food bags, travel dog food bags, I think is what they call them, but they're generally not this big. This is like a huge one. And it's just like a waterproof bag. These are also, could be called dry bags. You could go to Walmart and just get a dry bag in like a camping section. It's just meant to like help seal all the food. This one's pretty old, and it's supposed to be waterproof and everything, but I think it's kind of losing its waterproofness, I guess you can say. Just because it's a little older, I probably should replace it. But what I would do is all my little bags of dog food is I would put them in here and roll it up, so it kind of helps with the smell coming off of it, and it all keeps it in one spot. So definitely when I leave for the honeymoon, because we'll be gone for a week, I will be using this to try to keep all the dog food from making our clothes smell like dog food. But yeah, so that's how I kind of pack my dog food, is I put all my meals in here, pre-measured. I did bring, like I said, when I bought a bag of dog food, I did bring a measuring cup, actually. When I bought a piece of dog food. But normally, like, I went away to camp for a week, and I packed all my dog's food in Ziploc bags. This is actually what this is left over from. And miraculously, all of her food for a week, plus I think 1 or 2 bags filled with treats, all fit in here. It was very tight, but it all fit. Plus her bowl, because I typically will keep her bowl in here too, because it smells like dog food. So yeah, that's how I do my dog food. Also, you want to definitely bring like a travel bowl. So I think everyone thinks this is so cute when I go to meetups and stuff like this. Because I have a smaller dog, I use a little teeny tiny one like this. It's just a measuring cup. It's a 1/3 measuring cup, so it's teeny tiny. Just because my dog doesn't like lap water, I guess, like a lab or like a bigger dog. So those travel bowls that you find at like Petco, they're like this big, like big as her food bowl. You know, I fill it up and I end up dumping most of it out, like 90% of it out. But this way she'll actually finish this, and she'll actually probably do 3 of these. She'll probably drink a cup. I almost think she drinks more because she constantly empties this with this versus like a bigger bowl. So anyway, so this is like my normal travel water bowl for her. So you definitely want to bring that. And I'll put water in her food bowl at the hotel and just leave it out. That's one thing about those collapsible, the fabric bowls. I hate those, honestly, because you can't really put water in them, and if you do, they kind of make a mess. It's fine outside, but like if I were in a hotel, I like to have water out for my dog. So if I were to fill a fabric bowl up and then put it on the ground, it just leak everywhere. And I have actually tried it. It does leak everywhere. So that's why I have a metal bowl for that. So you can just leave a water bowl out. Also, the silicone travel bowls that many people have, they're very easy because they do this where they come down. They're smaller on the bottom than the top. They're very easy to tip over. So I wouldn't want to set one of those on the ground either. So that's why I recommend bringing a metal bowl. Or like you could bring your dog's normal bowl that they use. And then lastly, for like essentials, I recommend bringing a toy. Probably not one with a squeaker in it. This one I think has a squeaker in it. This one has a squeaker in it. But like a loud toy, especially if you're gonna be in a hotel. I'm gonna bring a squeaker toy for her because she loves her squeaker toys. See, she appeared. I know you want this, huh? Boop. So you definitely don't want. Come here, over here. Good girl. A loud squeaker when you're in a hotel, just because you have neighbors, stuff like that. Especially if you're in a non-dog friendly hotel. Definitely want to be more courteous of that because people could have signed onto that hotel because it's non-dog friendly. Anyway, I think all the hotels I'm going to be in are dog friendly, I think. I actually don't know about the first one I'm going to. I actually don't even know where it is. So, but yeah, so you want to have, I like to have a variety, but it does depend on your dog. So like generally if I'm gone for a week, so when I leave for my honeymoon or like when I went to camp, I brought a ball, a squeaky toy, and a rope. So a rope was the non-squeak toy, basically, they could play with. And the ball you can't always throw, and it kind of makes lots of noise. But it's a great way to run her out of energy. If your dog's not into toys, don't bring toys. But you don't have to bring toys. I do recommend bringing at least one toy, preferably non-squeak if you're going to a hotel. One place that we will be going to is a cabin. So obviously she can have squeaky toys and she could be rowdy and crazy and she'll be fine because she won't bug anybody. But so you definitely want to bring a toy for your dog to give them some off time while they're working, because generally when you're traveling they're working more than normal. But yeah, so that's all the essentials. So all right, now we're going on to the nice to have items. So these are items that are nice to have. First I'll go ahead and start with boots. These are Elsa's work boots. Little rough wears, and I like to keep them in this little mesh pouch, which I got at Walmart. Helps them breathe and dry out if they got a little sweaty, because the one place your dog does sweat is in their paws. And of course I have her socks in here too. But if your dog has any bigger size feet than like a 2-inch, this is not big enough, at least with the socks in there too. So, but this is really nice, and honestly, I almost wanted to put boots in the essentials item, but it really depends on you as a handler. I know a lot of handlers get away with not using boots, To me, personally, I believe boots are kind of essential for service dogs, just because sometimes you just can't avoid being out with your dog when it's hot outside. So for me, boots are kind of essential, but I put it in the good to have because you can get around it. If you're smart, you can get around it in day-to-day life and on vacations. I would think it's a little harder when you're traveling to get around it, but I suppose it's definitely possible. But I would highly suggest making sure you have dog boots with you and your dog know how to use them. So if you just get them, don't just throw them in your bag and plan to put them on if you need to use them. You gotta train your dog to use them. I do have a video on that. Go ahead and check that out up here. All right, other nice to have items is a crate. Now when you're traveling in a plane, there are some allowances for medical equipment, and for a service dog, the crate can be counted as medical equipment. Totally depends on what you're doing at your destination if you need a crate. I did when I flew, I brought a crate. Now I brought this crate. These are really cool pop-up crates. So this one was from Walmart. I think it was like $15. And it's just a pop-up crate. They don't have a ton of sizes for them, but they do have also some other travel kind of crates that are a little easier to move than the wired crates. Because the wired crates can damage, you'll probably have to like pack it in a box, label it, and make sure everything like that, and then put it in the plane, and then you gotta carry that thing. And there was no way I was gonna do that. But when I flew with Elsa for the first time, we went all the way over to Georgia. I live in California, so that's a long flight there. I did bring a crate because we were gone for an entire week. She kind of just graduated. She was about 2.5, I think. And this was her first time out of state. And so in the middle of, we actually went for my cousin's wedding. And in the middle of the week was the wedding. And I wanted to just kind of give her a break. She also wasn't really invited to the wedding, but that's a different story. But I figured it was totally good because that's the middle of the week. I could put her in a familiar place, her kennel, and she loves her kennel. And she can sleep for, a good 5 hours or 4 or 5 hours. I'm not sure how long it was. In the middle of the week and have a really good downtime. Because everything else was kind of, go, visiting family members out there. I have a ton of family out in Georgia. So, but having this kennel was fantastic for that. And it just pops up. It's really light. So we got this, and I think we put it in the checked bag. I didn't have it with me. Because it is still a little big. I mean, this bag, it would fit in this bag. Let's see, like this. It would totally fit in this bag, and you could probably fit everything else in there that you would need. But like I said, for that trip, I didn't have this bag yet, so I had this bag, and it doesn't quite fit in there. So, but I put this in the check bag because, like I said, I only used it once. But so it totally would depend on your dog, what you're doing, and where you're going would be if you need a crate. And also your dog needs to be highly crate trained before you use this, because this is just a piece of thin nylon. They can chew through this in seconds. But she's really comfortable in a crate. I introduced her to this for a couple weeks, and she loved it. She loves crates, so she doesn't chew at him, scratch at him at all. Because even just scratching like a thin crate like this would definitely destroy it in seconds. So anyway, crate's nice to have depending on what you're doing. You totally don't always need a crate. Okay, another nice thing to have is going to be a pack towel. This is kind of more of a recent thing I've gotten. This is a Walmart pack towel. I think they're like $5, and they're huge. They're in the camping section, and it's just a microfiber towel. And I kind of use this, double it as a placemat for her. It's kind of like the perfect size if I fold it in half for like a placemat. But a larger dog could probably use it like this. Probably not rolled up in a ball because it is kind of skinny. But you might be able to find bigger ones of these. But they're super cool. They're super absorbent. Having a towel when you travel is a really nice thing for a dog because there's just so many uses. So if they get wet or they went swimming or it rained and you need to wipe their paws off, having a small pack towel, I mean, look how small this is. Look at that. Is perfect because you can clean the paws off, you can dry them off. You could also, like I said, use it as a mat, as a blanket. Sometimes planes are kind of cold, you can wrap around them as a blanket. If they get a little sick, maybe, you know, first time in a long car ride, maybe they got a little sick. I typically don't hear about dogs getting sick on planes, but you can use it to wipe, you know, clean up whatever they got sick with. So, and they're really cheap, so, you know, if you didn't want to clean it afterwards, you could always throw it away and pick up another one. But pack towels definitely are my new favorite item to have. And I bring it all the time now. I love it. So definitely I would recommend a pack towel. Another thing, again, this one depends on like where you're going and how long. Like I said, a ball for the toys that you can bring. One thing that I would like to add to it, especially even if your dog's like off leash reliable, you're in a new environment, you never know. So I would say like a long line so you can play fetch with your dog, give them a little break, run them out. So this is a long line, and of course I always recommend attaching a long line to a harness, only, never to a collar. So I have a harness and a long line. So this is, again, depending on what you're doing, I probably won't be bringing this at all. I might bring it up to Big Bear, to the cabin. I might. But when I went to camp this summer, I brought this so I could run her out. And her still be safe. So yeah, there's that. You could bring something like that. Okay, this is a dog first aid kit. This is kind of a free Petco one they gave me. But you could put it in like a Ziploc bag, stuff like that. So this has a ton of stuff in it. You really don't need all this stuff. I'll probably make another video if you want to see a first aid kit video. But the main thing that your dog's going to need, if you're doing anything outdoors, a tick twister is a really good thing to have with you. So if any kind of hiking or anything like that, you could have some gloves, but like this vet wrap and just some padding stuff. Because the main thing your dog's going to injure themselves by is going to be a torn paw pad. Is going to be the main thing that they're going to injure themselves with. So just some vet wrap, maybe some, not gauze, but like non-stick pad that you can kind of cut, put it on it, and then vet wrap the whole thing. That's really all you need. And, you know, something to clean it. So maybe not alcohol swabs, but, or some kind of antibiotic spray or something like that. Just to clean it, bandage it, you're good. That's about the majority of all your first aid stuff that you're going to need for your dog. And, you know, you may, if you're just like going to a hotel and then going to, I don't know, some shows in Las Vegas or something like that, you may not even need that. So this is, again, very depending on what you're doing. I brought like a bigger one when I went to camp for a full week. Of course, when you're going someplace longer, you may want a little bit more stuff. But so this is, I think, what I brought, or I brought a bigger first aid kit because I also brought one for myself. It was a very packed first aid kit when I went to summer camp for a week. But again, depending on where you're going. Another thing that's good to have is going to be lights. So I have like a glow stick thing here with a little clip on it. And I have a little button one, which is very temperamental. I don't like this one. I know a lot of people have these and love them. This particular one is very temperamental and I hate it. This one works pretty well. I think it may need new batteries. No, I don't know if you can see that, but it glows like a little glow stick. Again, you may or may not need a light. You may not commonly use a light. I also have a light that's like a halo collar, which I love. That's rechargeable. but I'll probably bring one more backup, just because when you're traveling, especially like in a hotel, you're typically at least gonna go outside at night to to potty your dog once. Also, depending on the time of year, it'll get dark quicker, and you're gonna have to go potty your dog outside of the hotel. So having a light on them might be a nice thing to do, but you could always get away with it. You don't need it, but it's a nice thing to have. Another thing is training collars. So this is Elsa's prong collar, which I'll probably bring. May not use it, but you know, she's been off of a prong collar for a while now. Your dog might be off of whatever training collar they've been on, whether it's a, I don't know, chain martingale, e-collar, prong collar, head halter, a halty, any kind of training collar that you've used in the past and they're kind of off of, I'd recommend going ahead and throw that in your luggage, because you may encounter some new stuff when you travel, and you may need to go back to basics, and it's totally fine to go back to basics. So sometimes you just need your training tool back for, you know, it could be as little as 5 minutes. Put it on, run a couple of drills, they're like, oh, okay, I know what's going on. Take it off, throw it back in your luggage, you don't need it anymore. You know, maybe it's a little longer. Maybe they're a newer service dog, or something, this new something that you guys have run into has really thrown them off. So, totally depends on your dog. Even if your dog's an old pro, I highly recommend, unless you've traveled to this place before several times, throwing that training collar in there. Another thing that I'll probably be bringing, especially because like the first couple times I stayed in a hotel with Elsa, so this is not her first time in a hotel, this big marathon of 5 hotels. We were at the 5th floor, because someone else booked the hotel for us, so very gracious, but you know, definitely we're not thinking about the fact that I had a service dog and I have to go down 5 flights or 5 stories in an elevator. Luckily I didn't walk it, have to walk 5 flights, to go and potty her in the morning and at night and a couple times during the day. So having a potty pad, and if you've seen some of my other training videos or you've talked to me about potty training your dog, I have a deep hatred for potty pads, potty training a dog. I think they're kind of useless and they almost untrain your dog. So you may be thinking, why are you saying a potty pad? Well, because for service dogs, sometimes they're in situations that are not condoned to dog potty schedules. For example, being on top of a 5-story hotel building. So having a potty pad is a good thing to have, just in case maybe you just can't make it down. Maybe it's your health, maybe you know your dog needs to go like right now and you don't want them to potty in the middle of the lobby. So have a potty pad, put it down in the bathroom, give them a command to go potty. If they really need to go, they will go. I've heard lots of people use them for plane travel, for air travel. So this is mainly for that, but you know, it's nice to have. I'll probably be bringing one, and I have it in a large gallon-sized Ziploc. That way I can put it kind of back in here and seal it so it doesn't smell. Because the main reason I have these, I mean, I bought them at the dollar store, I think. Just a couple potty pads at the dollar store, super cheap, because they are really expensive at the pet store. You also get a big thing. You don't need that. Get a little small thing at the dollar store. I think I got like 4 or 5 pads. And I just put them in the Ziploc when I went traveling. So these are kind of old because this was back when I flew with Elsa. And I just brought them so that if I think she needed to go on the plane, I can go into take her into the little bathroom, put it on the floor, and tell her to go potty, because she has a potty command, as most service dogs do. So I would say that's a very nice thing to have. Obviously, depends on where you're going. If you personally book the hotel room, you know you're like on the ground floor, you obviously probably won't need it. If you're flying, I definitely would recommend it, especially if it's your first time. Or if someone else is booking the hotel room for you, you may be on a higher story. I'd recommend maybe bringing one. Just to kind of, just as an in case. You may not even use it. I actually haven't used one yet. I put one down when we flew at one of the bathrooms. When we had a layover that wasn't long enough to go find a potty spot or to exit the airport entirely. We didn't have a long layover, but I wanted to make sure she didn't need to go to the bathroom, so I took her into the bathroom, put her on the floor, asked her to go potty, and she just kind of looked at me like, I don't need to go. So we didn't end up using it, but it was very comforting at least to have. That way I knew that if she needed to, it was there. So that's it for the nice to have item. Okay, so next is specialty items. So an example for this is like mutt muffs, so ear protection, or rec specs, some eye protection, life jacket, stuff that you would only need if you're doing a specific activity. So like going to a concert, or if you're going outdoors or swimming, you'll need a jacket, a life jacket maybe for your dog if you're going boating or something like that. We'll be going kayaking, so I will definitely be bringing her life jacket. So just specialty items, you'll know as soon as you plan the whatever vacation you're going on or trip that if you need a specialty item. So that's really quick, got that out of the way. Lastly, grooming stuff. So grooming is going to be totally dependent what kind of dog you have, how long you're going. One thing I do like to bring is like a scented spray just to make sure that they're fresh smelling. So this is like strawberry freshening spray, raspberry flavored. Obviously if you're flying, they're not going to let you take all this liquid on the plane. So you could either put it in a Ziploc and in your checked bag, or get like a little travel bottle of this stuff. I really should put this in a travel bottle because this is a huge bottle. But, it's nice, especially if you're visiting people, to make sure your service dog is smelling nice and fresh. Another thing I have done in the past is brought a small empty bottle of like travel shampoo or something like that. I've emptied it and I put dog shampoo in there. I usually bring that when I go to summer camp for a week. I will bring a little small bottle of dog shampoo, and I can maybe, in theory I can wash her in the showers there, give her a little bath if she needed it. I've gone twice with her and she has yet to need a bath, but it just feels makes me feel more comfortable knowing that I can clean my dog if I need to, because that is kind of like a cabin situation where I'm sharing with people, and I always like to be very courteous when I'm around people that my dog is a good representative of a service dog and is also clean and not dirty, because some people don't always love dogs. They don't always care. Some people don't care if your dog stinks because they're a dog, they're cute, they're fluffy, whatever. And some people like dogs but are like, not too into the whole service dog thing, and you're like, why do you have your dog with you? It kind of stinks, So I always like to be very courteous and keep my dog very fresh smelling. Another thing you could do is dog wipes, and wipe them down. I find for my personal dog, those don't work very well. They make her look, it takes all the shine out of her coat. Even like the dry shampoos. I've tried dry shampoos. It takes all the shine out of her coat, and I think dirt sticks to her a lot quicker too. So I typically do not like using those products. I found that they just don't work on her. My previous dog, they worked great on. they always freshened her up really quickly, really nicely. So it does definitely depend on your dog. Find some stuff that works, but like some wet ones and stuff like that are also great for paws, to make sure their paws are clean. Also, it's generally pretty easy to just wet your dog's paws and dry them off, like with the pack towel, like I was saying before. Also a great thing to have for grooming. Also, again, depending on your dog, a brush, so you can bring their brush with you. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied today. Just to keep them tangle-free and try to remove all the fur before it like comes off in the hotel or something like that. So, I think the last thing for grooming is if you brush your dog's teeth, make sure you have their toothbrush with you so you can keep up on that dental hygiene. All right, so one thing I wanted to add, I kind of forgot about it, so I'm kind of doing this last minute, so that's why I haven't done her background. But a good thing to bring is some paperwork, and you can bring like your dog's health records or something like that. That's generally a good thing to have, especially if you're going to have to go to an emergency vet or something like that. Nice to have that all in front of you and really easy to communicate with the new vet in a different location. But like ADA stuff, like service dog stuff. So like the frequently asked questions about service animals in the ADA. This is a free printout online. They recently updated. It used to be like only 2 pages. And now it's 4, so it's a really nice printout. And of course, I went through and highlighted. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. These sections that apply to hotels, because I'm mainly going to hotels. So I highlighted those, so they're really easy to find. So having a printout like this is a really good thing to have. Also, what I use most of the time when I travel and when I went on a flight is I have this little passport thing. I may sell these, I don't know yet, but it's like half of it's fun, you know, cute little passport for my dog. It's nice to have a picture of your dog just in case, to show people. Of course, I obviously immediately regretted doing her paw print in red, kind of looks bloody. Definitely will do it in blue next time, but it's cute. I have her little paw print, like her stuff, her name, my name, date of birth, you know, cute stuff like that. And I have her microchip number. Other stuff here, vaccine records, pest preventative records, vet visit records, you know, all sorts of cool little records thing, a dental chart, awards for like tracking her AKC star puppy, CGC, stuff like that. Also have some important numbers in here, like the ASPCA Animal Control Center hotline. That's a good number to have. Also, I have her main vet and like the local vets around here. Also, you could put a sticky in with the local vets to where you're going. I also have little printouts of the different airlines that I went on. And little cards I stuck in there, and then in here I just folded up the health record. So if you want like a more in-detailed video on this, I could totally do that. And I'm totally thinking about selling these little pet passports and stuff like that. So let me know if you're interested in that. Anyway, back to the video. So if you can do me a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Let me know that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will probably be, once I get back from my wedding vacation, be making a top 10 travel tips for traveling with your service dog. Leave a comment down below if you're looking forward to that video, and if you have any travel tips to share, go ahead and leave those down below too. I might feature them in the video. I will see you next time. Bye!